Okay, so guys, like I said, we are currently doing graphs, and we've sort of been looking at how we can express different relationships, and we're going to now sort of start getting into all of these different types and eventually leading up into being able to draw a graph, which is quite cool. So what we've had a look at is sort of how patterns come about and how different variables relate to each other. And there's different ways that we can represent these relationships. For the most part, the one that you guys need to be very familiar with are equations and graphs, of which we're going to chat about today. But in sort of grade 8, we're also going to be exposed to tables and flow diagrams that we need to be comfortable with. Now, the tables is a very, very useful tool. And you can use it basically up until matric if graphs is a section that you struggle with. But really graphs and equations is where we need to focus and feel comfortable. So we're going to have a look at these 4 different ways of representing relationships. And then sort of like I say, we're going to eventually talk about how we actually properly draw graphs and how we work with graphs to represent relationships. So the first sort of way that we can represent a relationship is through a table. Okay, now tables will sometimes give you, most of the time we do actually give them to you. Sometimes you might have to draw them. But really all it is taking the relationship that you have and trying to work out what your inputs and your outputs are. Now, just a reminder, we have an input value and we have an output value. The input value generally we represent with the variable X, and the output value we represent with the variable Y. And basically what it means is that I sort of think of it like a number machine. We take the X value, and it can be any X value, 5, 10, -2, whatever we want. We put it into the machine, it performs some sort of operations on it, and it chucks out an answer. And so this is sort of the foundation of us being able to get to equations that can describe relationships. So this example here, we've got fabric that costs 12 Rand 50 per meter. So if we think about what our input is, our input would be how many meters of fabric I buy. That is going to determine how much I end up paying for my material. So if we want in our table, if we want to make it scenario specific, we can say that this is the number of meters that we buy. That would be our input. That determines how much it's going to cost me. My output would then be exactly as I just said, the cost. Now, if you want, some people get quite specific in their tables and they put the units. That's not the point of this lesson, so don't stress too much, but you can put it there if you want. And now we want to go and fill in our table to see what our outputs are. So if it's 12 Rand 50 per meter, that means that for 1 meter, I'm going to pay 12 Rand. Oh, golly, Miss Molly. 12 Rand 50 cents. Right, someone in the chat, or you can raise your hand. How much is 2 meters going to cost me? Oh, hands ready. Fareed, tell me, how much is 2 meters going to cost me?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, it's going to cost 25 Rand because it's 12 times 2, and the 2.50 cents makes 1 Rand, ma'am. Excellent.
So guys, exactly as we've just heard, we would take the 12 Rand 50 and times it by 2. Bear in mind that if you've got 2.50 cents, exactly, it makes 1 Rand. And so for 2 meters, I'm going to pay 25 Rand. All right. How much would it cost me to buy 3 meters? Lesejo, how much would it cost me to, I don't know what I'm doing. So sorry, everyone. 3 meters, how much?
Then it would be 37 Rand 50.
Okay, and how did you work that out?
Then I added the numbers, 25 plus 12.
Excellent. So 12 Rand 50, yes. So 37 Rand 50. Excellent. So guys, 2 different ways you could do it. You could either add another 12 Rand 50 because you're buying 1 extra meter, or you could times the 12 Rand 50 by 3. But either way, you're going to pay 37 Rand 50 cents for 3 meters. Okay, who can tell me how much is pick a random value? How much 11 meters would cost me? Whoops, Bontle, do you want to tell me?
11 to 137 Rand and 50 cents.
Excellent. So again, in this case, I probably wouldn't keep adding 12 Rand 50s. I would say, okay, I would pay 12 Rand 50 for 1 meter. So if I times that by the 11 meters that I want, I'm going to get 137 Rand 50. Excellent. Right. Who can tell me how much 20 meters of fabric is going to cost? Orotile.
Ma'am, for 20 meters, it's going to cost me 250 Rand.
Excellent. So I would say 12 Rand 50 times 20, and I get 250 Rand. Okay, let's try a little bit of not a trickier one, but let's try something a bit more challenging. What happens if I asked you, and I'm going to put a little squiggle here because I'm going out of order now. What if I asked you for the price of 4.5 meters? What would the price then be? I'm going to give you a second to think about it because it is a slightly trickier one, and then I'm going to pick someone. Guys, please remember just to mute yourselves once you have answered. Batabile, do you want to tell me how much 4.5 meters would cost?
There's someone who's unmuted, but I cannot find who it is.
Okay.
So remember that if you are unmuted, please mute yourself.
Okay, I'm going to pick someone else. Amber, how much would 4.5 meters cost?
Ma'am,
I actually calculated it and the same way you did it by doing 12.50 times 4.5. And it gave me 56 Rand and 25 cents.
Excellent. Okay, so guys, if we just do that multiplication, it will cost me 56 Rand 25 cents. Now, just as like a bit of a side note, money. So money, we always round to 2 decimal places unless they tell you specifically to round off differently. So they might ask you to round off to the nearest Rand or to the nearest 10 cents or something like that. But money, we always work 2 decimal places with. So it's just something to bear in mind. And a bit of a side note, but often people get a bit confused with the rounding off with money. So just remember, it is always 2 decimal places. Okay, so good, guys. As long as we can sort of start to apply the pattern that we're seeing, and this is why we've been speaking about patterns so often, we can really determine the cost of any length of fabric that we want to buy. Right, I see some hands, so I'm gonna give you a second or two. If you have a question, you can leave your hand up. If you don't have a question, please lower your hand, and then we're gonna go on to the next example. Cool. Right, guys, so let's have a look at another one. Here we've got some circles. In the first picture, we've got 1 circle. In the second one, we've got 3. And in the third one, we have got 6 circles. So my first question to you is just describe in words. So tell me, how do I get from picture 1 to picture 2 to picture 3? What is the pattern? What are we seeing? How do I get from one thing to the next? Whoopsie daisies. Okay, Wanele, tell me.
Hi, ma'am. To get from picture 1 to 2 to 3, you add 3 to each pattern.
Sorry, I'm just gonna fight with technology. Aye. Right, I got there in the end. Okay, so how many circles did we add to get from picture 1 to picture 2?
We added 3.
Are you sure? But I had 1 already. So aren't I adding 2? Do we agree? Oh no, panic. Okay, so guys, what we need to be mindful of is so let's say this is my first picture, my second picture, and my third picture. In my first picture, I already had 1 circle. In my second picture, I now have 3 circles. And in my third picture, I now have 6 circles. To get from 1 to 3, I'm adding 2. And then to get from 3 to 6, I'm adding 3. And so hopefully what we can sort of start to see is that I'm adding 1 more every single time. All right, so I can see a couple hands. Do we have questions, those hands? If you do have a question, you can leave it up. If you don't, you can lower it. I'm going to ask some more questions, so don't stress, there's going to be more options or more opportunities, I should say. Right, so just to sort of re-emphasize, as Mpho said on the chat, basically we would add 2 circles to get from the first picture to the second picture, 3 circles to get from the second picture to the third picture, and my pattern would carry on. So then I'd add 4 circles, and then I'd add 5 circles, and then I'd add 6 circles. Right, so I'm adding 1 more every single time. Right, I'm assuming these hands are all questions, guys. If they're not questions, please put it down. And then I'm going to start answering some questions. Okay, your username says Pearl's iPhone, but I know that's not your name.
Hey, Pearl, you can, hopefully it is your name. You can unmute on your side so you can ask your question. There's a pop-up that comes into your screen. There we go. You can ask your question. Pearl, you'll have to talk on your side because you're unmuted. So now you just have to talk. I see you together there.
Oh, no,
I don't know your... Hi. You can ask your question, Pearl. Otherwise, you can ask it on the chat. Okay, we'll be able to assist you there. Pearl's iPhone. Okay, I think Pearl will ask on the chat because Pearl, we hear your background, but you're not saying anything.
Okay, guys, so I apologize. I did not give you guys a chance to screenshot. Someone just pointed that out to me. So there is the example that we just did. So please do take a screenshot. I do apologize. I'll leave it up there for a second because I still see 2 more hands. Amatle, do you have a question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I do have a question. For I, it says describing. For I, it says describe in words how the sequence is generated, made from term 1.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong if you would say the number is added by what number you're on? For like the second term, we're adding 2 because we're on number 2, and then the third term we're adding 3 because we're on number 3.
No, I've never actually thought to describe it like that, but no, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Well done. Sampiwe, what is your question? Oh, I can't hear you. You might not be connected to your audio.
Simpiwe, I think if there's headphones, which I don't see them, you just need to be closer to the mic because we cannot hear anything at all. Okay, so what we're gonna do, Simpiwe, I'm not gonna mute you, So you're going to stay unmuted. If you want to ask, you can ask on the questions, but you will have a chance to try and sort out the system that you have, okay? You can also ask an adult to come and look at it because it looks like your mic is not working. Because you can hear us, then there's just some setting there that you are missing. And if that doesn't work, simply if you can hear me, please log out and then in again. Maybe it will help.
Okay, Nompumelelo, while we're hopefully trying to figure that out, what is your question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
No, I was trying to ask if I can answer the next question.
Okay, let us just get to the next question and then we'll have a look. Right, so guys, I just want to make sure before we move on to the next one that everyone is happy that we are adding an extra one circle each time. So basically, as Amatle had said, if we want the second term, we will add 2 circles. If we want the third term, we're adding 3 circles to the previous one. So as long as we're seeing that we're adding more and more circles each time, then we're on the right track here. Okay, so okay, let's see if some POS got this working before I start the next question. He's ready. Oh, maybe.
Hello?
There we go.
There we go, Simpiwe. I think this is Simpiwe, right?
Yes.
There we
Can
go,
you guys
Simpiwe.
hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay.
Did you have a question for us?
Never mind, ma'am. I forgot about it.
Okay, if you
That's
remember,
okay,
put your hand up again.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
mute you, Simpiwe. Okay, I'm gonna mute you and lower your hand. But now at least you can talk to us. Well done on fixing that problem.
Nice. Okay, guys, so let us have a look. So we've described how this pattern would be generated, and now we want to create a table for ourselves. Oopsie daisies. So we'll still see the pattern here. Remember, we have an input and an output. So, oh, I don't like how this table is looking right now. Otherwise, I'm going to get myself all confused. Sorry, I just know I'm not going to be able to write very nicely if it's all weird. Okay, better. Right, so we have our input. Me and technology. Remember, that would be expressed or can be expressed using an X. In this case, our input is the image number that we're working with, which I'll fill in now in a second. We also have our output, which we know we can use Y to show. And in this case, our output would be how many circles, because the number of circles depends on which picture I'm looking at. So this would be the image. So image 1, image 2, image 3, and so on. So I'm going to say image number. And then our output is the number of circles that we have. I haven't left myself enough space, so I've said circles, but basically it's the number of circles I have here. Okay, woo. So we know the first 3 already. So we know that image 1 has 1 circle, image 2 has 3 circles, and image 3 has got 6 circles. So who can tell me how many circles image 4 would have? So Nolo, if you want to raise your hand, you're more than welcome to give it a go. Otherwise, you can pop it in the chat. I can see you've asked if you can work it out. Let me see if I can find your hand. Tracy, do you want to try for us?
It's 10, ma'am.
Excellent. And how did you get 10? What did you do?
I added with +4.
Good, well done. So guys, remember we saw that the pattern that we sort of had identified was the fact that each time I add an extra 1. So this was +2. this was +3. And so exactly the next one, I have to add 4. And so as Tracy's told us, our next image is going to have 10 circles. Well done, everyone. Right, who wants to tell me how many circles image 5 is going to have? Nompumelelo, give us this one.
Ma'am, I think I got this. So I'm gonna say, this is image 5 is gonna be 15, and then
Good.
image 6 is gonna be 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
No.
so let's do image 5, image 5 first. Image 5, exactly as you said, would be 15 circles. And that was because we added 5. And so I would completely agree with you. Image 6 would now be 21 circles. Good, well done. Okay, so guys, let's try, what would image 8 have? So not necessarily the very next one. How many circles would image 8 have? I'll give everyone a second to give it a try. Oh, so many hands, lovely. Kitso, do you want to try for us or tell me how many image 8 would have? You're going to have to unmute on your side. There should be a little pop-up that comes up. There we go. Let's see.
Afternoon, Miss.
Hi.
Miss, I think it will be 28, Miss.
Okay, so how did you get 28?
I added on 7, Miss.
Okay, cool. So guys, what I want you to remember is that, and I've maybe been a bit sneaky here, I've said image 8. So I completely agree with you that image 7 would be 28, because if I added 7, which would be the next pattern, I would definitely get 28. But remember, that's for image number 7. I still want to get to image 8. Okay, so I still need to now add 8 to 28 and get my answer. So, oh golly, sorry everyone. Bunganele, do you want to tell me how many we would have?
Image 8, ma'am.
Yes.
That'd be 36.
Good. I'm concerned why we're saying 36 humans on the chat there.
Oh, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
We've got 36 circles. I suppose they can be humans if you want them to be. Okay, guys, so exactly, we would have 36. And the trick there was that it wasn't the very next one. I still needed to add another 8 before I got to image 8. And so just the reason I'm sort of pointing this out is be careful. Sometimes they don't ask you the very next one. They ask you the second next one or the third next one. And so it's so important that we read the instructions carefully, because our brains tell us, oh, it must be the next one. And like often we do that, but just read it very carefully. Okay. Right. So we have been working real hard. So let us have a little bit of a brain break here. Whoopsie daisies, before we go on to our next one. So I am going to, and Yolanda came up with this. She's awesome. I'm going to suggest, because we've done so many of these, that our brain break today is going to be a bit different in that I am not going to give you any hints. I'm going to let you do this by yourselves. And basically what we're going to wait for is someone to put an answer on the chat of what the final expression is worth. So basically I'm looking for someone to give me an answer for this last one here. So I'm not going to do it at all. Guys, put your things on the chat so that you can maybe help each other and you can see what's happening. If you're new, basically this is like a little brain teaser riddle just to take a little break from the math that we're doing. And we want to figure out what a salad, a waffle, and a bagel is worth so that we can go and work out the final expression. Okay, so let's see. Someone isn't on mute. Can we just make sure we're all muted? Suppose I actually need to know what the answer is so that we know who's getting it.
I'm finally here. Sorry, I disappeared for a while.
Oh,
I'm
shame.
not sharing. Yeah.
We're doing it as you did it last time, where we're waiting to see who can get the answer. But then I realized I need to know the answer.
Yeah, it will be good if we know the answer first. Like this, we can know who's the winner, who was the first one to get the answer right.
Okay, now I need to just check all these messages, make sure no one's got it.
I will help if you send me the answer.
Oh, I think we actually got one. Let me send it to you though and make sure. Panic, panic, panic. Oh, and I see lots of hands.
Let's see.
We might have a winner. I just need Yolenta to check me before I get too excited here.
No. No, I checked and no. If I check the number again, it doesn't match the number that you gave me, unless if you swap them around.
Okay, I'm seeing some very different answers. So I'll give you a hint. It's less than 100. That's my hint.
No one has.
Lesejo's like, no, I don't believe you. You're lying to me.
Oh, Simpiwe, you are our winner. Simpiwe got it, guys. So if anyone can look at Simpiwe's answer, that's the answer. Kwanda got it. Well done, Kwanda.
Oh, nice, guys. Because my chat isn't loading. That would explain it. Okay.
Kwanda. Kanyiso also now got it. Abile also got it. So now we just need someone to explain how did you guys arrive to that answer. Grandma also got it. Masiko, I think. Yeah, it's Masiko.
Okay.
Masiko also got it. Yeah.
Nice, guys. Well done. Okay,
Well
so
done,
these
Masiko.
hands that are up, I'm just going to call out your names. Okay, no, I'm not going to call out your names. Hands that are up, I'm basically wanting you to explain the whole thing for me. So if you don't want to explain it, put your hand down because I don't want to pick you and then you don't want to do it. Okay. Leobona, do you want to tell us? Oh, someone actually pointed out something. Maybe I can't do maths. Hang 10.
Hello, ma'am.
Sorry, Leobona, give me 2 seconds. I think I've just realized I made a huge oopsie. Guys, so sorry. There are 2 salads here. I can't see.
No.
And there are 2 waffles. Wow. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing in my whole life. That's where we're at.
Oh, I think Teacher Sam and I fell into the trap. We didn't realize there was a trap, my pips. We fell right into it.
Into my own trap. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Leobona, do you want to tell us? Because clearly my brain stopped. So
that was a trap. Whoever figured that one out, well done.
Bona?
Guys, remember that if you're not answering us, please mute yourself.
I got 420.
How did you get 420?
I added 16 to 5 and then times it by 20.
Okay, so remember we need to do the multiplication first.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, let's quickly do this because clearly my brain was not working today. Right, so salads, oh, for heaven's, the strength. Okay, so each salad is worth 10. I think we all managed to get that. But obviously, 2 salads means it's worth 20, and Leoborna mentioned that now. In the second step, 10 times 10, because remember multiplication first is 100, which means 1 waffle is 8. That then means here, the 2 waffles is, again, as Leoborna mentioned, 16. Now, in this third step here, we still need to figure out what a bagel is. And so we need to sort of be quite careful. I would try and do a bit of inverse operations here and say 80 minus 8, which gives me 72. And then I would divide that by 8 to figure out what I would times 8 by in order to get my answer. So this would be 9, because 8 times 9 is 72. And then 72 plus 8 gives me that 80. And so a bagel is worth 9. Now, like I say, you need to go and do the multiplication first. And so 9 times 20 is 180. And then we add 16, so 196. So well done, everyone. Clearly, I'm just losing my mind, but that's all right. It's been a day. Right, so 196. Well done, everyone who got that.
I see Amate also got it. Well done, my pibs. Well done.
Clearly, I need to double and triple and quadruple check myself in future with these things.
I also need a calculator. I think I need to sit with a calculator here during brain break time. Okay.
Okay, guys, if you didn't get it, that's okay. It has indeed been a long day. It is what it is. It's the actual math that we are worried about, and we're getting that right.
Yeah. Anyone who has their hands up, could you please lower your hands? And like this, we start afresh, okay? Because now we're going back to our maths, and we don't want to confuse Teacher Sam with the hands.
And so
if you have your hands up, please lower it down. Anyone who has their hands up, please lower it down. So Nompumelelo, lower your hand down. Tracy, lower your hand down. Pel, lower your hand down. Siamo, Ontono, lower your hand down, please. Everyone, lower your hands down. Thank you. Tracy, it's only you who is left, so you can lower your hands down. Find that reaction button and there's a hand up. Your hand is up, so you can lower it down, because you only raise your hand up if you have a question or if you want to answer. Okay, my peeps? And immediately when you're done answering or talking to Teacher Sam, please make sure that before you lower your hand, you mute yourself, and then you can lower your hand. Okay, we can do this. Let's go. Last stretch.
Okay, guys, so the second sort of representation that we can have here are flow diagrams. This is super quick because, like I say, I sort of imagine it like a number machine. If I chuck a number in, I'm going to get something out. So if we look at the first one with my beautiful handwriting here, we can pick any input. So these are the numbers that are going to go in. We are then going to perform the operations of times 2 and add 3 to them, and we're going to get some output. Now, flow diagrams, like I say, are really just, you have to get used to them a bit for this year, but we don't really use flow diagrams all that much. It's more to teach you how operations work. So those of you saying you hate flow diagrams, That's okay. We need to be somewhat comfortable with them, but we don't, like, from here on out, they don't come up a whole lot. So don't stress.
Teacher Sam, I recommend Tepi for the first question that you will have on flow diagram. I recommend that Tepi answer the first question for us.
Okay, so Tepi, get ready.
Yeah, boo. Tepi, we are on you. I'm watching.
Right. Right, guys. So let us say that our inputs here, and we can pick any number. Let's say our input was 2. So I'm going to put 2 into the machine, for lack of a better word. I need to times it by 2, and then I need to add 3 in order to get my output. So Tepi, where you at? Tell me what my output is going to be.
Let's go, Tepi. I'm cheering for you so you can love flow diagram. Okay, everyone who hates flow diagram, let's raise our hands up so we can answer the question. Then we can love it.
Okay, I see Tsepi's already put it on the chat. Awesome. 7.
Nice.
So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 is indeed 7. So that would be our output. Okay, hands, I can see there's lots of hands, so I'm going to leave them there. Let's say our next input is 4. I'm going to pick someone. Bontle, tell me what the output's going to be. Bontle, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
What is our output for 4?
11, ma'am.
11, excellent, well done. Okay, next inputs. Let's say our input is 0. Batabile, do you want to tell me what my output would be?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It will be 3.
Excellent. So guys, remember 0 times 2 is 0, and then we've got plus 3, so my output is 3. Well done. Okay, let's say my input is -1. So take a second, think about it carefully. Dimpo, do you want to tell me what my output would be?
Ma'am, I am not sure with this one, ma'am.
Okay, so let's do it together. What is a -1 times +2?
I think it's +2, ma'am.
Okay, what's a negative times a positive?
It gives you a positive, ma'am.
Negative.
Or it gives you a negative, ma'am.
Yes, so it'll give us -2. So what's -2 plus 3?
It's -2 plus 3. It's +4, ma'am.
Positive? 1.
1. How, ma'am? 1.
So if we take a -1, oh golly. Okay, -1 times +2, we get a -2. If I now take -2 and add 3 to it, I'm going to be left with a 1. Now, sometimes I quite like to use a number line to imagine this, because sometimes adding negatives is quite tricky. So let's say I'm here at -2 and I need to add 3. I'm going to move to the right and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And so it gives me a +1.
1.
Okay, good. Right, let's go a bit wild here. Let's go -13. That's my input. So again, I'll give you guys a second if you want to think. And Simongo Kukli, do you want to tell me what the output is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ma'am, you're breaking. What did you say?
I can hear you. What is the output for -13?
Ma'am, can you hear me? Oh, it's -3.
Okay, I don't know if I heard the
-3.
Excellent. Well done. So guys, -13 times 2 is -26. And then -26 plus 3 is -23. Alrighty. So once again, inputs and outputs come about because we are performing some sort of operation in order to get our output. Alrighty, so good golly, so much happening. Like I say, don't stress too much about flow diagrams, mostly because it is not something that you're going to have to use a lot in the future. It's leading you into where we're going. Right now, we only did 2 of our 4, but that's really not a stress, and I don't really want to try and do too much. So let's have a look. We've got some inputs here. We've got 5 minutes. So I want 5 hands. We've got an input of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're performing these operations here. I want some outputs. So I'm going to pick people. Lwazi, give me the first output.
The answer is 4.
Okay, explain to me how you got it.
I said 1 times 2 plus 1 times 2 and gave me 4.
Okay, what is 1 times 2?
1 times 2 is 2.
Okay, what's 2 plus 1?
2 plus 1 is 3.
And what's 3 times 2?
And it's 6.
6. Okay, now the reason is, did you do it on a calculator?
Yes.
Okay, so guys, what you need to be careful of is if you put this in on a calculator, your calculator automatically does, hang on, let me just get my words right, automatically or doesn't automatically take into account the order in which we want to do things. So we first want to times the 1 by 2, which gives us 2. Then we want to add the 1, which gives us 3. And then we want to times by 2. So just be careful that you're doing it in the correct order as we go along. Okay, well done, Lwazi.
Thank you, thank you.
Alrighty, let us see. Our QA, do you want to give us a second output?
Ma'am, the answer is 10.
Excellent. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. Well done. Ntokozisi, give me the third one.
So I can see the first number.
Okay, so sorry. Let's do that. So the input number is 3. So okay, I'm assuming Ntokozisi just needs some time to do that. So I'm going to pick someone else. Seho, do you want to tell me the third output?
Okay, ma'am, can I please try?
Yes.
So it's going to, I said 2 times 2.
Okay, sorry, we want the third one here. So we want where the input's 3.
Oh, I said 3 times 2.
Good.
Equals to 6.
Good.
And then 6 plus 1 equals to 7.
Good.
And then times 2.
Which is?
Let me check this number. 14.
Good, well done. Okay, guys, so that is our third output that we get. Simpiwe, give us the fourth one. Oh, Simpiwe.
Okay, we say 3 times 2, which is equal to 6, plus 1, which is equal to 6. No, we say 4 times 2, which is equal to 8, plus 1, which is equal to 9. 9 times 2 is equal to 18.
Excellent, well done. Never had someone so excited. Well done. Okay, guys, we are running out of time. So very quickly, the last one, Wanele, and okay, this everyone's saying 22. I would tend to agree. 5 times 2 is 10, 11, 22. Right, so there is a poll that Yulene just put up. Please